It's a girl.
It's a girl.
It's a girl.
Our global issue is on the gender side and women's rights. Gender side is the process of when specific members of a gender are targeted and killed. This impacts the world in many different ways, but mostly because it causes an imbalance and conflict between the sexes. Gender side and women's rights are mainly prominent in Asia, in countries such as China and India, because they account for a high percentage of situations like unnatural selection and unfair treatment to women.
India is a big contributor to gendercide. A 2011 census shows that 7,000 female fetuses are aborted per day. This equates to about 1 million per year. The sex ratio is the number of boys born for every 100 girls. Naturally, for every 100 girls born, there's supposed to be 105 boys born. But due to India's unnatural process of selection, there are 112 boys born for every 100 girls. This causes an unseen ratio between genders.
In India, it is a crime to use an ultrasound to determine the sex of your child. It is also illegal to perform an abortion based on gender. Every ultrasound clinic is required to post the law. It is rarely enforced.
People walk in the open in broad daylight. Doctors are performing the sonograms in broad daylight. So it's not even like underground, it's overground, accepted, but not talked about.
Although we might assume that the poverty-stricken and poorer people are the ones who choose to abort their babies more often than the elite and well-educated, this is not true. The more educated and rich people are the ones who choose to abort babies due to their intelligence and understanding of the importance of girls. Because they also have more connections and money, they are able to receive care from the newer technology such as ultrasound machines and MRI scanners. And with the introduction of ultrasound technology to India in the 1960s, an estimation of 500,000 girls are aborted each year. In addition to this, it is often that the mother or mother-in-law will be the one to choose whether or not to abort the female fetus, because there is a heavy burden on women to have no children. Some will actually prefer to have a male children. That way I can stop after one child, says 26-year-old Asha, who works in a bank. If not, I will have to have more children that will jeopardize my career.
Though most of the time it is women who choose to abort the female fetus, it is also men who force their wives into killing the baby.
Each family wants that there should be at least one son who can look after the family business, who can look after the family name, and who can look after the parents when they are old.
Reasons why many Indians think that the male gender is more important is that they bring money into their family, while a girl will only leave her family while taking away money from them. A mother of 2 daughters in Bangalore said better to spend 5,000 rupees or $106 now than raise 500,000 rupees or $7,850 later for the dowry. Another logo says, why pay 5 lakhs, 500,000 rupees or $10,000 in the future? Pay 5,000 rupees and you can get rid of the problem. In addition, if a family cannot pay for the dowry, oftentimes they end up as victims of violence and assault. Indian families also say that if you raise a daughter, you will have to send her to school while paying for her books and other things. And while she may be in school, she will fall in love with a man from another caste. Thus, their daughter will be taken away from them, along with high sums of money, and all the time they spent raising her will have gone to waste. Another reason why families decide to keep a son is because when they're married, the son will stay with his family to support and care for them. In addition to that, generally it is that mothers bear more girls than boys, meaning it will take a few tries before a boy comes. And it is a wish for them to have a son in the family to carry on their name and legacy.
As a result of gendercide is that many families decide to neglect their girl child and they aren't treated or spoiled as good as the boys. In extreme cases, if the family decides to keep the girl, then they will oftentimes deprive her of food or clothing for periods of time. Consequences of infanticide due to gendercide is that as the female population declines, there will be a competition between male population for brides. This often results in prostitution, kidnapping of women from poorer grooms, crossing borders to search for women in other countries, and buying and selling of girls at young ages when they are not yet have hit puberty, so they cannot receive education or jobs that pay. Another consequence is not having enough women in a community is that because there are tasks that only women can do in an unequal society, such as cooking, cleaning, watching children, and taking care of elders. Men don't know how to do those jobs, and without women, there are many tasks and daily events that will not happen.
A solution that has been tried before is that India made a law in 1996 called the Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act, which prohibits mothers from sex selection abortion. In addition to that, the act also states that abortion must be conducted by consented person only. Because India did not enforce this law enough, many people, including doctors, ignore this law and continue to participate in sex-selective abortion. Some clinics have slogans that openly encourage couples to scan for the gender of their child, such as spend 500 rupees, around $8 now, and save 5,000 rupees, around $79 later.
The police and the judiciary, they never implement the laws because they believe in the same thing and sometimes actually do the same thing.
Solutions to stop gendercide worldwide is that we can educate the people on the importance of women and how they impact the world. This solution won't change anything right away, but once the people come to realize how much women and girls are needed, we will start to see a change and balance in the sex ratio. Another solution in action is the Invisible Girl Project, where participants of the project supervise settlements they think are more likely to take part in unnatural selection. They keep records of every birth that occurs and educate pregnant mothers. If it happens that a baby's life has been taken, they will file a lawsuit to gain justice for the life taken. Another solution taken from panos.org says India's religious leaders have commanded sex-selective abortion as shameful and inhuman. They have pledged to help their followers shun the practice. In April, the Akal Takht, the highest religious authority among the Sikhs, issued an edict that any Sikh who indulged in sex-selective and abortion should be excommunicated.
Yeah, I remember this one well. In 1965, when I was a little girl, that was the year when the law was passed so that girls get a share of their parents' property. Up to 1965, girls don't get any property from their parents. It all goes to the sons. But in 1965, the law changed, and then now boys and girls both get a share of their property. And there are many organizations working to fix this inequality, but it might take more time.